ਸ੍ਰੀ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀਓ। ਸ਼ਲੋਕ ਮਹੱਲਾ ਤੀਜਾ। ਨਾਨਕ ਨਾਭੋ ਕੁਥਿਆ, ਹਲਤ ਪਲਤ ਸਭ ਜਾਏ। ਜਪ ਤਪ ਸੰਜਮ ਸਭ ਹਿਰ ਲਿਆ, ਮੁੱਠੀ ਦੂਜੈ ਭਾਏ। ਨਾਨਕ ਨਾਭੋ ਕੁਥਿਆ, ਹਲਤ ਪਲਤ ਸਭ ਜਾਏ। ਜਪ ਤਪ ਸੰਜਮ ਸਭ ਹਿਰ ਲਿਆ, ਮੁੱਠੀ ਦੂਜੈ ਭਾਏ। ਜਮਦਰ ਬੱਧੇ ਮਾਰੀਐ ਹੈ, ਬਹੁਤੀ ਮਿਲੇ ਸਜਾਏ। ਮਹੱਲਾ ਤੀਜਾ। ਸੰਤਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਵੈਰ ਕਮਾਵੰਦੇ, ਦੁਸ਼ਟਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਮੋਹ ਪਿਆਰ। ਅੱਗੇ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਸੁਖ ਨਹੀਂ, ਮਰ ਜਮਹਿ ਵਾਰੋ ਵਾਰ। ਤ੍ਰਿਸ਼ਨਾ ਕਦੇ ਨਾ ਬੁਝਈ, ਦੁਬਦਾ ਹੋਏ ਖੁਆਰ। ਮੋਹ ਕਾਲੇ ਤਿਨਾ ਨਿੰਦਕਾ, ਤਿਤ ਸੱਚੈ ਦਰਬਾਰ। ਨਾਨਕ ਨਾਮ ਵਿਹੂਣਿਆ, ਨਾ ਉਰਵਾਰ ਨਾ ਪਾਰ। ਪੌੜੀ। ਜੋ ਹਰ ਨਾਮ ਧਿਆਇਂਦੇ, ਸੇ ਹਰ ਹਰ ਨਾਮ ਰਤੇ ਮਨ ਮਾਹੀ। ਜਿਨਾ ਮਨ ਚਿਤ ਇੱਕ ਆਰਾਧਿਆ, ਤਿਨਾ ਇੱਕ ਸਬਿਨ ਦੂਜਾ ਕੋ ਨਾਹੀ। ਸਹੀ ਪੁਰਖ ਹਰ ਸੇਵੰਦੇ, ਜਿਨ ਧੁਰ ਮਸਤਕ ਲੇਖ ਲਿਖਾਹੀ। ਹਰ ਕੇ ਗੁਣ ਨਿਤ ਗਾਵੰਦੇ, ਹਰ ਗੁਣ ਗਾਏ ਗੁਣੀ ਸਮਝਾਹੀ। ਵਡਿਆਈ ਵੱਡੀ ਗੁਰਮੁਖਾਂ, ਗੁਰਪੂਰੈ ਹਰ ਨਾਮ ਸਮਾਹੀ। ਹਰ ਕੇ ਗੁਣ ਨਿਤ ਗਾਵੰਦੇ, ਹਰ ਗੁਣ ਗਾਏ ਗੁਣੀ ਸਮਝਾਹੀ। ਵਡਿਆਈ ਵੱਡੀ ਗੁਰਮੁਖਾਂ, ਗੁਰਪੂਰੇ ਹਰ ਨਾਮ ਸਮਾਹੀ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀ, today Sri Hukamnama Sahib from Sri Sachkhand, Sri Harmandir Sahib is on Ang 648. Starts on Ang 648, then continues on to Ang 649. It's by Guru Amar Das Ji, Tije Sache Paatshah Ji. Guru Amar Das Ji Paatshah Ji saying to us today in this Salok Mahalla Tija Salok, if we walk alongside every word that Guru Amar Das Ji Paatshah Ji is saying to us, if we hold on to every word that Guru Amar Das Ji Paatshah Ji is saying to us, then Sangat Ji, that salok has the power to take us to that lok, to that world, which is the most sundar, the most beautiful place, meaning where that vasa, where Vaheguru Ji resides. Salok mahalla tija. ਨਾਨਕ ਨਾਭੋ ਕੁਥਿਆ, ਹਲਤ ਪਲਤ ਸਭ ਜਾਏ। ਗੁਰੂ ਅਮਰਦਾਸ ਜੀ ਸੱਚੇ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਜੀ, ਵੀਰ ਜੀ, if you can just mute yourself. Guru Amar Das Ji Sache Paatshah Ji saying to us that Nanak Nabho Kuthya. Nabho here means the name of God. And the name of God here doesn't just refer to when we recite God's name. Somebody asked this question as well. A question that came in my inbox saying that, Veerji, that Naam is mentioned throughout Gurbani. And this person from what I got from the messages, actually seems to be going through Guru Granth Sahib Ji Pacha Ji's Bani, but in the English translation, and saying that Naam is mentioned throughout. That's right, Naam is mentioned throughout Bani, and yes, it does come in it means different things in different places, but the root of it is all the same. Kende Nanak Nabo Kuthya. Kuthya means jene ਭੁਲਾ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਭਾਵ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਵਿਛੜ ਗਿਆ. ਭੁਲਾ ਦਿੱਤਾ means to forget, and from that meaning those that have separated. Nabo hoya doesn't just mean when we recite in God's name with this tongue. Sangat ji, that is just the starting point for us. ਇਹ ਤਾਂ ਕੱਲਾ ਇੱਕ ਪਹਿਲਾ ਪੜਾਅ ਆ ਸਿੱਖ ਵਾਸਤੇ. ਪੜਾਅ means that it's the first step for us, just like if we need to get water to an entire plant. Those of you that are gardeners, those of you that have got that love and passion for gardening and growing plants. I've grown up with my mum, my own mother, having that passion, and now seeing that passion within my wife as well of growing plants. Sangat ji, and tanu pata hai, most even kids will know this, that we don't go around giving the water to each plant, to each leaf. We don't go around going and putting water into each flower of that plant. We don't go and try and get all the tania, all the stems of that plant. We don't try and get all of that wet, because we're not trying to get water into there through these things. But where do we put the water? We all know that the water goes into the roots. ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਥੱਲੇ ਇੱਕ ਵਾਰੀ ਪਾਣੀ ਪਾ ਦੋ. We start off and we put the water in the roots of that plant, and then that water starts to travel. From the roots, it goes through each stem. It goes to the leaves. It goes to the flower. It goes ਇੱਕ ਪਾਸੇ, ਉਹ ਸਾਰੇ ਪਾਸੇ ਉਹ ਫਿਲਰ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਉਹ ਪਾਣੀ. ਪਾਇਆ ਪਿਆਰੇ ਉਹ ਪਾਣੀ ਜੜ ਨੂੰ ਸੀਗਾ, ਪਰ ਦੇਖੋ ਜੜ ਨੂੰ ਪਾਇਆ ਪਾਣੀ ਉਹ ਇੱਕ ਜਗ੍ਹਾ ਉੱਪਰ, ਉਸ ਬੂਟੇ ਦੀ ਜਗ੍ਹਾ ਉੱਪਰ ਪਹੁੰਚ ਗਿਆ. ਉਸ ਬੂਟੇ ਦੇ ਪਿਆਰਿਓ ਟਾਹਣੀਆਂ ਤੱਕ ਗਿਆ ਪਾਣੀ. ਉਸ ਬੂਟੇ ਦੇ ਪੱਤਿਆਂ ਤੱਕ, ਉਸ ਬੂਟੇ ਦੇ ਫੁੱਲਾਂ ਤੱਕ ਗਿਆ ਉਹ ਪਾਣੀ. ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀ, in that same way, that when we talk about Naam is just like that. The tongue is like watering the root. So from here, from the tongue, then that Naam goes deep inside of us. ਉਹ ਜਪਦੇ ਰਸਨਾ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜਪਦੇ reciting from this with this tongue initially, and then it goes deep inside of us. Eventually Pat ji say to us that Gurmukh Rom har tyave. They said then those that actually have given themselves to the Guru. Giving ourselves to the Guru means giving my I to the Guru, giving my homage to the Guru, saying that where I don't exist anymore and I need you, Guru Sahib Ji, that Gurmukh Rom har tyave. Then watering the roots. The root is our tongue. Watering the roots meaning saying Vaheguru with this tongue. Eventually a time will come, as long as we give ourselves to the Guru, a time will come when Gurmukh Rom har tyave. That way each pore of our body will be meditating on the name of God. Nabaho. Sangaji, Nabaho is when it even goes, it gets so subtle, it becomes so fine that there's no even word remaining anymore. Then it actually takes us to the Nami. The Naam takes us to the Nami. From the name, it takes us to the one that name belongs to. Sangaji, it gets us to that place when our avastha becomes this, when we come into the realization of this, that Jeta, Kita, Teta, Nao, Virnave, Nahi ko, Thao. Sangaji, that I always try my best to take it back to the Baniya that you are familiar with, so that we can make this connection with these Baniya. So Pachi kende Jeta, Kita, Teta, Nao. Over here, when Guru Amar Das Ji Pachi is talking about kende Nanak Nabaho Kuthya, those that are separated and forgotten, that Vaheguru Ji's Naam. Here Naam is when my ego is not there anymore and all I see is you in everything. And that's what this is. That's what this is. Jeta kita teta nao vin nave nahi ko thao. Sangat ji, Paach ji saying here, Guru Nanak Dev ji, kende jeta kita, kende whatever you have done, Vaheguru ji. Kende jeta, jinna vi, jo vi, whatever that has been done by you, Vaheguru ji, meaning all this creation that you have created, and every little, from the minutest of the little intricate design that you have put into your creation, that what we can see and that what we can't see as well, from the ability of us being able to have thoughts. Those thoughts haven't got an akar, they haven't got a form, but they exist. They create vibrations. Sangat ji, from every part of what you have done, Vaheguru ji, jeta kita, that you have done, kende teta now, kende your name, teta means yours, kende your name is on that. Meaning this is what Nanak Naam here is talking about. That Naam of Vaheguru ji, not now, it's not just on the, where it, at that avastha where it's on the tongue, but where it goes into every part of us, where it's vibrating out so much, that's all we can hear and that's all we can see everywhere. That Naam is in every part of everything, everywhere now. Just like Paach ji say to us in Slok Mahalla Nauma di Bani, Paach kende kat kat main har ju basai santan kehyo pukar, kende kat kat main, within each and every part of existence, kende in the hearts of everyone. But we again, our minds are so conditioned to think this organ heart. Heart means that one thing that is the core of everything. So over here, when we read this translation, it says the dear Lord abides in each and every heart. We just start thinking human beings, organ heart, Vaheguru ji must be sitting here. No, it means that Vaheguru ji is the core of everything, everywhere. When we start to realize Vaheguru ji kende jeta kita teta now, then even when I breathe, each breath that I take, that I know that you are behind that breath, that it is you, Vaheguru ji, then I see your name in that breath as well. Vaheguru ji, each time, no matter what happens, whether I feel hungry and my stomach rumbles, behind that, I see your name as well. That's what it means. That's where the rasana, the reciting of name takes us. That when we get to that place eventually, that jeta kita teta naum vin nave nahi ko thao, then when I realize, I come to realize that there is no place where your name does not exist. I can see you signatured everywhere now. Just like a painter, they paint something and they put their name to it. But Vaheguru ji's name isn't inscribed and signed like that. That Vaheguru ji's signature is something for us to realize. When we haven't got that realization, Nanak Navo Kuthea, we have now forgotten that Vaheguru ji's existence is in everything and is behind everything. Of the whole working of everything, Vaheguru ji's name is behind all of that. Then they Paach ji can lage kende halat. Halat means in this life, this very life that we've got now, from whenever you took birth. So for example, for me, I took birth in 1981. This physical body did. They said, so when this physical body of yours came into existence, this life that you are living now, halat, and palat, nale palat, even palat means jado aithon palt ke chal jana ya. Meaning when you leave this life and you go on to your next life, meaning when this body is left behind, but my karam continue to go with me, in that world as well, halat palat sab jaye. Sab jaye means that you've lost out everything. Sab jaye na sab kuch chal gaya. Rati sade ghare chori hui, ਤਾਂ ਕਹਿਣ ਲੱਗੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਕੀ ਕੁਝ ਉਹ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਗਏ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ what did they take ਕਹਿੰਦੇ I was robbed last night Kende sab kuch chal gaya. Kende they took everything. Sab jaye means we lose everything when we forget Vaheguru Ji. And now you've understood what it means to forget Vaheguru Ji. पाठ जी कहन लगे कहंदे जप तप संजम सब हिर लिया मुट्ठी दूजे पाए. Path ji saying that what happens कहंदे when दूजे पाए, when I fell for duality, when I fell for दूजे, the other means that other form, meaning that duality, this illusionary world. When I got attached to the riches of this world, when I got attached to the power of having power in this world, when I got attached to wealth, when I got attached to all of these other things that are actually not the truth, Vaheguruji, so I've forgotten you behind all of them, that is you. Kende duje pai, I've fallen into love with that. But that what I fell into love with, that being wealth, that being status, whatever it is, but ultimately Sangaji, what is it that falls into love with all of this? Maya de naal pyar kar diya. Maya roop sarir, this body of mine, I became attached to this, fell in love with this, that this body then fell in love with everything else, wealth, children, whatever it may be. In that, meaning in my home, there is now I am in that, meaning that I haven't recognized you. The truth is there is only you, there is nothing but you. Just like Bhagat Kabir ji said, they said there is no I and you, there is no me and you, there is only you. Saying that tu karta, tu hua, मुझ मैं रहा ना हूँ. कबीर जी कहते कबीर तू करता तू हुआ. There used to be me and you. There used to be an I am, meaning I lived in that ignorance, thinking that I am separate and you are separate. Saying, but then as I started to see your name everywhere, started to have that realization, that little realization, oh, even behind my breath is you. Even behind this tarti is you, the earth is you. Even behind the fruits that you give from this tarti is you. And as I started to say you, and I started to realize that my body is made out of this tarti, that this body is earth, and even within this body of mine is you, there is nothing but you. And I just started to say, Kabir, tu karta, tu hua. Then I became you, meaning I realized there was always just you and there was nothing but you. Kehte tu hua, mujh mein raha na hu. The who means my homemade. The I am is not there anymore. It didn't exist anyway. That was just an illusion of my own mind. What I was attached to, being this little separate identity. कहते जब आपा परका मिट गया जत देखो तात तू. कहते when I got rid of myself, when I was erased, my ego was gone. कहते जब आपा परका मिट गया. कहते that difference that was between us. कहते now wherever I look jat dekho Sangaji. Here this word I always like to throw in a bit of grammar so when you read you can connect to it even deeper. People say this topic is dry, but no, you can make this topic of love as well, because it depends what specs we are looking through. But dekho here is first person, because dekho Sangaji is a verb, something that we do, and then ura onkad here means represents that the ura has got an onkad underneath it, and we pronounce it with a bindi at the end, dekho, meaning that I am now. Whatever I am seeing, jat dekho tat tu. That wherever I look now, there is only you. There is only one left now. And Patji saying, but when we're not in the realization of that, anything opposite to that, avastha is called ignorance, is called living in my ego. and not understanding my ego and not being able to utilize my ego. What does it mean to be able to just understand your ego and use your ego? Because we can actually use it. Sangat Ji, Pacha Ji is saying to us, it's every aspect of the mind that exists can be used. So we've got manas, we've got thoughts. The thoughts can be used, and we've got the home. The home can be used, but it's not using us anymore. Pacha kende home bujje, tandar sujje, gyan vihuna, kathe lujje. Pacha Ji kende home bujje. Bujje kende once I understand this ego, tandar sujje, then I've understood this whole game. I've understood what you actually are, that there is only but you. And then I use this home as just like you take on a personality, but we sometimes become a particular personality and we just end up thinking we are that. No, then we use certain identities in certain different places. You know, some people just say, just be you. That makes no sense. Because the true us is that we are that one. We are that Atma of that, we are part of that Pari Atma. So when we say to somebody, just be you, we're not actually saying to them to be your Atma. We're actually saying, just remain attached to your one particular personality, that one identity of yours, and that means being in your home. So somebody might be quite an angry person. Somebody gets angry and frustrated quite quick about things, and then people recognize them for that being their personality. You know, kende hunde na संगत जी, वो कहते ना कहते कि ख्याल रखियो, कहते ख्याल रखियो, कहते ये तो आ गया, कहते किते इन्हों कहते छेड़ ना दईयो तो कहते इन्हें मच पना है. So I often think that sometimes when I talk about these Punjabi kahavats of my veer that's helping and doing the seva with this preacher and sing, that I wonder if these go over his head sometimes, and I'm thinking like, you know, one of those emojis when he looks all confused. So ਇਹਦਾ ਮਤਲਬ ਕੀ ਆ ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀ? ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਛੇੜਿਓ ਨਾ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਇਹ ਤਾਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਇੱਕ ਬੁਝੀ ਹੋਈ ਆ ਗਿਆ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਮਾੜਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਲਾਤੀ ਤਿੱਲੀ, ਇਹਨੇ ਮੱਚ ਪਣਾ ਆ. What that means is, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ be careful, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ there's fire inside of this one. If you give it any little spark, it's just going to blow and it's going to go crazy. There's people that have got that reputation. There's people that's become their personality, meaning they just now think they are that. And people start to recognize them as that. So sometimes people will say, yeah, don't really look, just be yourself. We don't even know what we're saying when we say be yourself. That makes no sense. संगत जी, मैनू एक गल याद आ गई, मैनू एक साखी याद आ गई, that मैनू बड़ा चिर हो गया, माफ़ करना, बड़ा चिर हो गया पढ़ी नू, so I might not be able to get the details perfect. It's been a long time since I read this Sakhi, and I introduced Bhai Baljit Singh Ji to this book as well, of Bhai Suthre Shah, many years ago. संगत जी, एक बारी भाई सुथरे शाह जी सतगुरु जी सच्चे पातशाह जी दी सेवा विच ने. भाई सुथरा शाह जी is in the seva of Guru Sahib ji, of Guru Hargobind Sahib ji सच्चे पातशाह. And whilst Bhai Suthre Shah is in the seva of Guru Gobind Singh ji Patsha ji, somebody called, some particular sant came to see Guru Hargobind Sahib ji Patsha ji. And this sant was by the name of, and he went by the name of Shanti Das. Shanti means to have that calmness inside of you. Shanti. You know, you'll hear this, that even when our Hindu brothers, our Hindu veer, when they go through their mantras, and at the end they will finish off with Om Shanti Om, Om Shanti Om. They use the word Shanti. And Shanti means that somebody that has found that peace inside of them, and now they've become that the embodiment of peace inside. And he went by this name and he promoted to people that, you know, this is what he represents. He represents his name of having that inner peace inside of him. And he came to Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji Paach Ji to do darshan. And as he sat in front of Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji Sache Padshah Ji, and he felt that, you know, he should have that opportunity to sit because he's a great saint as well, and he should be sat beside Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji Padshah Ji. Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji Paach Ji picking this up inside of him, and they said, they allowed him, they actually called him up themselves. Kende koi nahi Shanti Das, tusi sade kol aake baitho. They said, come and sit by us. And Bhai Suthre Shah, Bhai Suthre Shah, oh Brahm Gyani si, even though his ways were very mischievous, but he was that Brahm Gyani that nothing you could not hide anything from him. Odiyan akhan de to kuch chupya nahi si janda. You could not hide anything from his eyes. He knew everything what was going on inside of someone. He had that akh, he had that inner intuition to be able to recognize what's going on inside of somebody. Unhe vekhya ke acha, and he saw inside of this. First of all, Bhai Suthre Shah wasn't happy that how dare he come and sit beside my Guru or alongside that throne. He's not worthy of being able to sit alongside my Guru. And Sangat Ji, the one ki kita, Bhai Suthre Shah kept looking at him, kept staring at him. And Bhai Suthre Shah, during this time, was doing Chaur Sahib of Guru Sahib and just kept staring at him. And now the Shanti Das he's looking back behind Guru Sahib Ji, looking behind Suthre Shah and thinking, why does he keep staring at me like that? And eventually Bhai Suthre Shah started to nod, looking at him and nodding. And you know why Suthre Shah is nodding? We'll understand it in a while. And he's thinking, he's thinking, why does he keep nodding like that? And then eventually Bhai Suthre Shah, as he's doing Chaur Sahib, he starts going like that. With one of his fingers, he went like that. He's going like that. Very mischievous. And he's sitting there thinking, he's thinking, what's he doing to me with his fingers? And then, so he's getting a little annoyed now. This Shanti Das, the embodiment of peace, he's getting annoyed. And then eventually Suthre Shah thought, okay, he's thinking, all right, maybe need a little bit more of a spark here. And then Suthre Shah got two fingers and went, he's going like this. And Guru Sahib Ji, he's behind Guru Sahib Ji. So Guru Sahib Ji can't see what he's doing. Not to say that Guru Sahib Ji doesn't know. And then he goes with two fingers, he's going like this. And then, so Guru Sahib Ji, remember, is sitting there and he's doing Chaur Sahib. And then Shanti Das is now like, he's looking at him thinking, what's he doing? Is he trying to, is he trying to shame me up here? Suthre Shah thought, you know what, need a bit more spark here. And then Suthre Shah got three fingers and went like that, and he's making faces. And then Shanti Das looked towards him and he goes, Had ho gayi. He goes, tu ki kari janna hai? He lost it completely. He got up and he said to Guru Sahib Ji, he says, you've called me here to get my besti done, to bring shame to me. You know, is this what you do to people? Guru Sahib Ji कहते ki ho gaya Shanti Das? And Shanti Das goes, "Eno pucho apne Sikh nu, eh ki kari janda ya? Eh pata nahi mainu machkadiyan karda ya." Machkadiyan means he's trying to tease me and he's trying to do my besti. And Guru Sahib Ji कहते oye Suthre Shah, tu hun fail lap piya. कहते you're at it again, because he was known for this. कहते tu fail lap piya. कहते tu Shanti Das nu कहते छेड़दा सीगा. And Suthre Shah goes, कहते नहीं महाराज, कहते मैं Shanti Das nu थोड़ो छेड़िया है. कहते महाराज कहते Suthre Shah कहते Shanti कहते झूठ बोलदा, कहते नाले Sikh होके, and he claims to be one of your Sikhs and he's lying now. ये झूठ बोली जांदा. कहते Suthre Shah कहंदा नहीं पातशाह, कहंदे मैं नहीं झूठ बोलिया, कहंदे I've not lied, कहंदे क्यों पातशाह, कहंदे हुण की राज है तेरी गल विच, कहंदे what's the secret behind what you're saying now? What do you mean you're not lying? You've obviously been playing games behind me, haven't you? Suthre Shah कहंदा, कहंदे मैं नहीं झूठ बोलदा, कहंदे मैं शांति दास नूं नहीं छेड़िया, कहंदे मैं तां भंबड़ दास नूं छेड़िया सीगा. Bhambad Das means somebody that has the ability to explode. Bhambad, that has this explosiveness inside of them. कहंदे मैं तां भंबड़ दास, कहंदे ये तां अंदर तां सीगी, कहंदे अग, कहंदे पर बाहर इन्हें कदी किसी नूं दिखाई नहीं सी. कहंदे मैं क्या पातशाह, कहंदे अज इहनूं बाहर कढ दईए इस अग नूं अंदर ते जिहड़ी ऐन मचदी पई है. कहंदे पातशाह all I did was bring this fire outside. He was inside of him anyway. He was fooling people. That's not his name. पातशाह कहंदे, कहंदे ऐसी कला ना खेडिए जित दरगाह जाइए. कहंदे let's not play that game when we go to that dargah and we're going to lose. Pyareo, this Suthre Shah was just so amazing. He is just brought this out of him. Sangat ji, and कई वारी साडा ये हाल हुंदा आ that पातशाह जी इत्थे सानू कहण लगे, कहंदे जप तप संजम. Some people, many of us, we do japa, we recite mantras, कहंदे tapp, कहंदे we even do tapasya, we do penance, कहंदे sanjam, and then we do all sorts of different types of disciplines. We try and put ourselves through different types of discipline, meaning Sangat ji that, you know, all types of different types of self-controls. We'll say to ourselves, you know what, I'm not going to look that direction for 5 hours. I'm just going to look this direction now for 5 hours, and that becomes then my tapp, my penance. Self in control in so many different ways. But then Pacha ji, they say, kende ha, kende but kende here le a, kende but you still end up getting robbed. All your qualities inside of you, that apparent calmness that you had inside of you, it's now, it's that love that you had for duality has now deceived you. It's come and bit you now, and you've now completely been destroyed. So Sangat ji, until we don't get rid of this home, we don't give this home to the Guru, this I am, being so full of pride, then we're going to be ruined. We're going to continue to be robbed. So पातशाह जी कहने लगे, कहते जमदार बद्दे मारिया है बहुती मिले सजाए. Then पातशाह जी say to us, कहते जमदार बद्दे मारी है बहुती मिले सजाए. And what that means is, कहते the jam, the messengers of death, कहते जमदार, dar means at their door, they will take you to the door of death. Jam, those jams will. Badde means they will tie you up, mari hai, and you'll be beaten. Meaning, if you don't get rid of this ego of yours, and it says that then you will keep getting robbed of your inside these qualities, and you will be deceived by this attachment to what you've got. And sometimes our attachment is only what was it that Bhambad Das had? Even though he would have gone and done so many of these different type of things, but still the ego was still there. He still felt that I am. He hadn't given himself to, he submitted his ego to a guru, and then he still had pride over that I am Shanti, I am this embodiment of peace. And he was just showing that to other people. He was still stuck in that maya of status. So Sangat ji, as we still get stuck in that maya, it'll come from ego, then we'll be destroyed. And then what will happen? That ego of ours, that attachment of ours will take form of into the jam of the messengers of death. And then because we will be so attached to our status, I am Shanti Das, you know, I've got so many followers, you know, all of this. And then we've still got the ego, not realize the truth. And then that becomes the jam. Then just like Bhagat Farid ji say to us, kende malkal maut ja avsi, sab darwaje bhan. Bhagat Farid ji कहने लगे, kende malkal means that they refer to it as, the Muslims refer to it as the angel of death. Kende malkal maut ja avsi. Kende when that messenger of death comes and brings death to you, kende sab darwaje bhan. Kende it will break down all the doors. Bhagt Freed saying kende malkal maut ja avsi sab darwaje bhan. Meaning that there's no door that will be able to protect you. There's nothing that will be able to keep that messenger of death out. It will come straight in and take you out. Sangat ji, for those that have got no chor, for those that have got no attachment, there is no messenger of death to come for them, because they have nothing to hold on to. For them, sunaya pohe na sakha kaal, because they are completely connected. Sunaya, they're in line. They are listening constantly to that vibration of Vaheguru Ji inside of them. So pohe sake, there's no messenger of death that can come and touch them, because they don't need anyone to drag them out to say, look, we have to take you now. They're ready to go. Death is nothing for them. That's just like changing some clothes for them. For them, they're like, yeah, cool, time's up. This body's done now. Yeah, I'm ready to go. Why do you need somebody to break in to your house and drag you out? Just like Dhan Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Sache Padshah, they did not need anyone, did they, to come and arrest them and take them to Delhi from Sri Anandpur Sahib when they went to give their cease, when they went to give their head. Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Path Ji Pੈ Kahu Ko Det Neh Neh Pੈ Manat Aan Kaho Nanak Sundre Mana Gyani Tahe Bakhan. Kende Pੈ, they had no fear. Pੈ Kahu Ko Det Neh, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਿਹੜਾ ਡਰ ਸੀਗਾ ਕਿਸੇ ਦਾ? They had no fear for death. They had no fear for anything. They didn't give fear to anyone. So they didn't need anyone to come and arrest them. Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Path Ji went happily themselves. Even when Guru Arjan Dev Ji Sache Paatshah Ji, they came to say to Guru Arjan Dev Ji Paatshah Ji that you've been summoned at the court of Jahangir. But even then, they didn't need anyone to come and arrest them. Guru Arjan Dev Ji Paatshah Ji went happily themselves. And in that way, those Gurmukhs that have got no ego left inside of them, there's no ignorance, and they will happily leave this because they understand the truth. They've got no attachment to anything. But those like me that are still in attachment, that if I don't beat that attachment before my death, I'm in trouble, because Malkal Maut ja Avsi Sab Darwaje Pan, they're going to come charging in. There's going to be no door that is going to be able to stop them. Those jums then, they're going to be dragging me out. Whether then I'm going to be going kicking and screaming, but I'll have no choice. I'll be going, nahi, nahi, nahi jana. But they'll be saying, no, sorry, you gotta go. Kende jindan mani kaddiye hadda ku kadkaye. So Bhagt Freed Ji, their bani is in such a way that they make you feel the words. They'll say your bones will be like cracking. Kende hadda ku kadkaye. Kende ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕੱਟਣਾ ਆ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਤੇਰੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਹੱਡਾਂ ਨੇ ਆ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ because what it means is that your bones are going to be crackling, that the force of you leaving your body is going to be so intense, because you're not wanting to go, you're going to be dragged out. It's going to be a horrible experience. I'm not trying to scare anyone, I'm just trying to bring Bani forward to you. ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਮਲਕਲ ਮੌਤ ਜਾਂ ਆਪਸੀ ਸਭ ਦਰਵਾਜ਼ੇ ਭੰਨ, ਤਿਨਾ ਪਿਆਰਿਆ ਭਾਈਆਂ ਅੱਗੇ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਬੰਨ. Sangat Ji, here Bhagt Freed Ji saying, kende no, now, kende but that body of yours, kende those people that were left behind that was so beloved to you, kende what are they going to have to do? Kende they are going to have to now ban your sarir, mean tie up now your body to that manja. It's so a manja is Sangat Ji, you'll see in India, those that you are familiar with it, you'll know straight away. So manja is without the mattress. So you've got the four legs, and then you've got the wood frame, and then you've got the material, like what you make the badri out of, and then you go round, but without any mattress. That's what a dead body is put on. That they said they will be left, the ones that are left behind, kende agge ditta ban. Kende jade oh agge, kende agge bhav means they'll have to come forward. Tina pyarya bhaiyan agge ditta ban or agge hoke, then they'll tie you up to that manja. Then all that will be left of that body is kende vekho banda chalya chaho janaya ke da kan. Kende you'll be carried on, kan means shoulders, on the 4 shoulders of these brothers that you left behind. So Path Ji saying here, kende it's our own chore, our own thieves, the vices that will become the Jamdoot, the messenger of death. Jamdar badde mari. What does it mean that they'll beat us? So obviously, what will it mean that they'll tie us up? That's how it's going to all feel. That's what the experience will be like. Remember, there's no ropes of this world. This world's gone. We can't comprehend that realm. That realm's not made out of the material of this realm. So it's not going to be no physical rope. But my resistance is going to, that whole experience is going to be like with that because I'm so desperate not to go and kicking and screaming. What do they have to do now? They'll have to cuff me. They'll have to tie me up. But that's how it'll feel, because I won't have any power over it. It'll feel like that now I'm tied up. And then Mariye means, so you know when you've been dragged out of something, it feels like you've been hit, aren't you? So that it'll be a gruesome experience of being Mariya, being beaten. So that'll be like being battered when we're resisting to go. That'll be the experience. So bahti mile sajaye, and then we'll be punished so much. And don't look at it in punishment as God being a punisher. I've already explained this. Punisher in the meaning in the way we will just be getting. It will just be a consequences that will be actually folding out from our own actions. Meaning that will be the saza. The punishment is that of my resistance. So Path Ji saying kende mahalla tija. Kende santan naal vair kamavande dushta naal moh pyar. Kende who is it that this happens to? This experience happens to those that actually santa naal, that with the saints, vair kamavande, that actually have enmity towards saints. Those very people that are going to help us to get away from being attached to this world. Then we've got enmity towards them, and the antriv arth of this is santa means all our qualities inside. We've got enmity towards them, meaning that we go nowhere near them. Compassion, love, nowhere near them. It's those people that suffer in the end. Dushta naal moh pyar. But dushta, but the enemies we make friends with, and then meaning we end up associating with those people that are our enemies, meaning that help us to become even more engrossed and attached into this world, that help us to become more full of pride, that help us to become more full of anger. And so Sangat Ji, that when I say more full of anger, and then like I was saying before, that what does it mean home bujje? Home bujje was meant to be, where some people say don't worry, just be yourself. If that's what you are, if you get angry, just be that. How ridiculous is that? Sangaji, that's because we didn't understand home. It just means that in different circumstances of life, you are so conscious and in control. Realization means you can use different identities for that certain place. Like I'll say to my son, I'll say, beta, ago kei jaga hundiyan ya, जिथे आपां कई समा हुंदा है, माफ करना, जिथे आपां हसना आ, अगो पर कई समा हुंदा जिथे आपां ओह समा हसन वाला नहीं हुंदा, उत्थे हुंदा आपां ऐन एकाग्र चित हो करके आपां जुड़ना है उस प्रभु अकाल पुरख वाहिगुरु जी दे नाल. So meaning that there's times when yes we have an immense laugh and we be a certain way, but when it comes to then meditation, then we take on a certain role, we become focused, and then so you go to work, then you take on a certain role. You've got to be a certain person there. You're assertive. You still got your qualities of being in humility, being compassionate, but you might take a certain role there. You become this assertive role. But then you come home and then you take on a different identity there. You become like a little child with your child. You're rolling around on the floor, but you're doing it all consciously. That's what it means to understand home bujje. ਤਾਂ ਅੰਦਰ ਸੁਝਿਆ, you've understood then what this whole game is. Then Pachaji over here ਕਹਿਣ ਲੱਗੇ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਦੁਸ਼ਟਾ ਨਾਨ ਮੋਹ ਪਿਆਰ. But then we fall in love with these false personalities that we have created with our chore, with things like anger, with all these things like jealousy and greed, we give in to them. So, and then Pachaji ਕਹਿਣ ਲੱਗੇ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਅੱਗੇ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਸੁਖ ਨਹੀਂ. ਕਹਿੰਦੇ then how can we expect to have true happiness, bliss in this world, ਅੱਗੇ here, and then ਅੱਗੇ, sorry, Sangat ji, ਅੱਗੇ meaning where we're going to go from here. Piche means what we're going to leave behind, meaning in this world. We can't expect to have sukh anywhere. This world after, mar jamme varo var. We will have to keep going through that experience of birth and death, that experience of that messenger of death, and we're going through that gruesome experience again and again if we don't actually let go of this ego. Pachikande Trishna kade na bujjai, because this Trishna, this burning desires inside of us, that's never going to extinguish. That's just going to keep burning, because that's the nature of desire, which I explained in one of the other kathas. I don't know which one. Maybe Viji can help me. So, and then Pachaji, I think it's called Understanding Desires, or the nature of desires, that's one. The nature of desires. Watch that katha to understand this whole what is Trishna. Then Pacha kende dubda hue khwar. Kende in this duality, kende khwar, I am ruined. Kende mokale tina nindaka. Kende the nindakas, the slanderers of the saints, those that are actually enemies of the true saints that are going to help us. Pacha ji ਕਹਿਣ ਲੱਗੇ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ you slander them, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਪਰ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਤਾਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਮੂੰਹ ਫੇ ਕਾਲਾ ਹੋਣਾ ਆ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਮੂੰਹ ਕਾਲੇ ਤਿਨਾ ਨਿੰਦਕਾ, meaning your face will be blackened here, just like Prithi Chand, their own older brother of Guru Arjan Dev Ji, Pachaji was always slandering Guru Arjan Dev Ji. Guru Arjan Dev Ji, and he was always slandering his own brother, which was the Guru. So Sangaji, that katha is the nature of desire, and the link will be found in the description. So then doing slandering saints, your face will be blackened. What does it mean that your face will be blackened? It means that nobody now talks about Baba Prithi Chand, the older brother of Guru Arjan Dev Ji, all the things he did against Guru Arjan Dev Ji, Pachaji, in a good way. His face has been blackened. When we think of him, we think of darkness. So Sangat ji kende tit sache darbar, in the eyes of Vaheguru ji, their faces are black. So Sangat ji, we've all got auras, and depending on what frequency of vibration, what frequency we are vibrating on, the more love we got, the lighter we will be. And having a black face means that the more evil thoughts that we've are consumed with from inside, the more blackness we'll have around us. Our energy will be draining. Kende Nanak Naam Vihunaya, those that are separated from the name of God. Kende na urvar na par. Kende we have got no place. We can't get anywhere. Kende par. Kende we cannot get across this world. And urvar, and even over here, we are completely ruined. Kende pauri jo har naam dhyainde. But those that meditate on the name of God, se har har naam ratte. Those that are actually imbued in the name of God, those that meditated on the name of God, they then become imbued in God's name. Ratte man mahi, their minds inside mahi, in my mind inside, that becomes imbued in the name of God. Jina man chit ek aradya, those that focused completely and meditated with that single-minded complete attention. Kende tina ikas bin duja ko nahi, they realize there is nothing but Vaheguru ji, just like we went through before. Pach kende say purka har sem de, kende only those that are able to remember Vaheguru ji, kende jin tur mastak lekh likha hi, then those that have got it inscribed upon their forehead, meaning those that have got it inscribed within. And this can get very confusing for people, so they're thinking, oh, that's it then. No, it doesn't mean that. We are the ones that scribe our own destiny. It's us. So, the more and more we give ourselves to the Guru, the more good deeds we do, we will then be able to have that inscribed for our life, for us to live in that remembrance of Vaheguru Ji, to be beyond ego and to be in Naam. Paach kende har ke gun nit gaamde, kende constantly sing in the praises of God. Kende har gun gaye guni samjhahi. Kende as then we become completely that drenched, the embodiment of the praise of God. Then what do? Samjhahi. Then we help others. Then we explain to others of how to remain in the praise of God. Kende vadiyai vaddi gurmukha. Kende the greatness of the gurmukhs, that those that give themselves to the Guru, kende is so great. Kende Guru Pure. Kende the Guru Pure, the perfect, complete Guru. Har Naam Samahi. Meaning, through giving themselves to the perfect Guru, kende they will remain absorbed in the name of God. So Sangat Ji, there was many things that were covered in this katha. Understanding, having a deeper understanding of what the messenger of death is, how that whole works, understanding on a deeper level the stages of Naam. When I start off, that is just the starting point. We don't want to just the name of God to remain on our tongue only. We don't want that water to just remain in the roots of that plant, and we want it to travel up and go to every part and feed every part of that plant. So when we start to see and realize that Vaheguru Ji is behind everything, Vaheguru Ji is in everything, that's what it means then to completely be in Naam. And that is where we all aim to be, and then we'll be liberated. There won't be any messengers of death taking us by force, going through any horrendous situations. So Badshah Ji Kirpa Karan. So never take anything negative. Take this katha as a positive, that we are all on this beautiful path, and by starting with the roots of our tongue, that Vaheguru Ji's name spills into every part of us and we see Vaheguru Ji everywhere. Vaheguru Ji ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji ki Fateh. Vaheguru.